Here are the most sought-for food fish that come from our oceans, the famed tuna of the blue Pacific. And they are costly, because to bring such beauties to the gourmet's table, men must risk their lives and great investments in the most modern of fishing craft, ocean-going cruisers that have worked a revolution in the conception of modern fishing boats and fishing methods. Not many years ago, such small boats as these were sufficient for the job, because schools of tuna fish were easy to find all along the California shores. The market then was small, but as more and more people added tuna fish to their table fares, more and more tuna had to be brought from the nearby waters. Bigger boats to cover far distant waters had to be provided. Today, these $500,000 tuna clippers must be fueled and provisioned for voyages longer than that of Columbus as he journeyed to a new world. And for the California tuna fishermen, the waters off the west coast of Central and South America became a new fishing world, a big watery world, far, far from home. A world in which the lookouts now most often find sufficient fish to justify such hazardous voyages and heavy investments. When a school of tuna fish is located, the clipper becomes a scene of great activity. The fishermen rush to get into protective gear for rough and dangerous work. Even the cook drops his potatoes and goes to a more important job. Fishing platforms are lowered over the side. Live anchovies from the bait tanks are tossed towards the school to tease it to within reach of the fishermen's jigs. This is called chumming. Climbing over the side to the outrigged fishing platform, the men get ready for the hoped-for rush. A steady supply of chum is showered on the approaching school. And here they come. Sometimes they rush into the bait and sometimes they are wary. The men never know what will happen. But this run looks like business, money in the bank, for these hardy fellows work on shares, big shares. This is important business, for they are catching the world's most wanted fish, tuna fish, for which there is always a waiting market. This is no place for those with flabby muscles. These are men, real men in perfect physical condition. They can take it, they have to, and they do. Sometimes these speedsters will keep on striking until the decks are full. But the action sometimes doesn't last very long. The run may stop as suddenly as it started. Then it becomes necessary to move the catch into the freezing holes, where they will be kept ocean fresh until they are cooked and packed at the cannery in faraway home ports. On the larger clippers, such freezing holes will not be filled until some 400 tons of tuna have been lifted from the blue seas. With deck cleared of fish, a search for another school must begin. Until lately, these searches for new schools were often costly and long drawn out. The live bait and the fish as well may be scarce and hard to find. And so the airplane has come into some use as an aid in this search. With good visibility, vast areas of the sea may be scouted. And upon sighting schools of tuna, the fishermen are called by wireless phone and given bearings so they may come to the spot. However, as up-to-date and interesting as the method is, it has its limitations. Tuna clippers and tuna schools may be hundreds of miles apart and hundreds of miles from any shore. And this is a land-based plane with a very limited cruising range. Big as modern tuna clippers are, they can't launch planes. But you can't stump these treasure hunters. If $500,000 fishing boats and costly planes won't turn the trick, they'll gamble more. For these men are daring. They will risk whatever it takes to bring home full loads. Full holds to tuna fishermen mean all of the luxuries of life that Americans take so much for granted. Automobiles, good homes, fine educations for their children, deep freeze boxes, television sets, and the leisure to enjoy them. Tuna fishermen, when they hit the jackpot, are big earners and free-handed spenders. So now, why should we be surprised to find these courageous fishermen putting their chips down on a new and amazing helicopter experiment? Here it is, possibly the solution of the great quest. Like the gull, this craft can slowly skim the surface of the ocean, searching out every sign of fish. And being lucky in finding the finny bonanza, it can, again like the gull, stand still and estimate the size and tonnage of its prize. And, like a duck, it can sit on reasonably calm waters, call and await the coming of the eager fishermen of the mother ship. And the mother ship, the tuna clipper, is the pelican of all fishing craft. But unlike the pelican, its belly can hold plenty. 400 or more tons of this, the world's most wanted fish. And that means, first, finding the fish no matter what the cost. No one knows where the species spawn. Fortunes have been spent in the search to no avail. No one knows where. But if men, money, and science can find them, they will be found. For everybody loves tuna, and there has never been enough of the best.